Doug Wood, the animator of the original Half-Life and veteran Valve employee, has been called by many names. Chocolate Shotgun, Ham Hawk, and Draco, to name a few. However, instead of dwelling on the future, let's talk about Doug Wood and how he was important to Valve. Douglas R. Wood had worked in the game industry long before taking a job at Valve. Originally working at Origin Systems, he quickly moved over to 3D Realms, where he worked on games such as Duke 3D, Shadow Warrior, and the early version of Prey. Wood moved away from Texas and up to Bellevue, Washington in early 1997. Wood was hired as a general artist and took many roles with Half-Life's development, such as modeling, rigging, and animating. He's credited on the Valve website for having done most of the scripted sequences in Half-Life, such as the jumping head crabs and tentacles pulling scientists up into the ceiling. Wood has had some part in developing most projects at Valve, although he predominantly worked on Half-Life and the animation systems in Valve's engines. It is stated that Doug also helped shape the Source engine's animation system, focusing on techniques which allow animators and designers to quickly create and modify choreographed scenes. It should also be assumed that before his retirement, Wood had much to do with the Source 2's animation system, as development of Source 2 dates back many years before the retirement of this animator. Along with being a 2D artist, Wood has worked at Valve since his hire back in 1997. But now, after 19 years, Wood announced on his personal Facebook page that he is retiring from Valve for personal reasons, specifically to spend more time with his child and to travel. Along with the post comes two very nice photos. One of the Half-Life team on a boat, presumably right after the completion of the first game, and another more recent picture of the current animation team at Valve. Now, before we start talking about the implications of him leaving at Valve, I would first like to send out a large thank you to Mr. Wood for all the work he has put into every Valve game since Half-Life, and I wish him well for the future. Now, I know what all of you are thinking. First, Ted Backman, a huge artist and designer dating back to Half-Life 1, retires. Then Mark Laidlaw, the writer of all of the stories to every Half-Life game, retires. And now Doug Wood, an animator and artist for every Valve game, once again dating back from Half-Life 1, retires as well. Does this mean the end of the Half-Life series? Is Valve not what it used to be? Well, as I see it, there are two theories going on why these Valve employees are leaving. Number one, Valve just isn't making games that use these developers' potential, and they leave to pursue other ventures. Number two, they have finished the work they feel is enough to the last installment that they work on, leaving the newer employees to take their place and finish the work they started. Now, I actually have a lot to say on this topic, but that is for another video and one I've been working on for months. But just keep this in mind. If Valve wasn't making any games, they would have no reason to continue hiring some very popular game developers, and a lot of the people working at Valve would have nothing to do. Now, there is no way to confirm how much work these few completed before their retirement, but just know that they have been doing work, and that's all that matters. Whether or not Valve is working on Half-Life 3, Left 4 Dead 3, Portal 3, or something completely different doesn't matter, because Valve is working on something, and I have a feeling we will hear about it very soon. But anyways, that was just a little thing I wanted to talk about in regards to Doug Wood, one of the original animators on Half-Life 1, announcing his retirement. So thank you very much for watching. I'm Tyler McVicker. This is Valve News Network. Have a good day. Adios.
Due to mandatory scheduled maintenance, the next chamber of this testing cycle is currently unavailable.